hate the homies.
Yo, what it is, man? We got a special edition this week. This is I Hate the Homies. Welcome back to the podcast, man. Episode number 58. Rock Teasy is who I beezy.
I'm waiting for the number for 58. That Negro ain't here. So I guess you gotta go without it. Which is fine with me. I'm not gonna miss that crap. So this is Super Dave. And guess what, Griff? We don't care.
Oh, man. Hey, let me tell y'all something, man. So the third homie, Griff, is not here, man. We on vacation right now. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Griff is actually in South Africa doing his thing, so he ain't going to be able to make it this week.
That's what he's saying. Don't give
it Hey, I'll let y'all handle all that. But wherever Griff is, we praying for you, brother. Do your thing. It is what it is. Me and Super Dave gonna hold it down this week. So real quick though, before we get going into what we're gonna be talking about, how are you spending your vacation, Super Dizzle?
In paradise. Nobody's here. My wife is at work. The kids at my mother-in-law's. I'm here by myself. You see that conquer? That's what I'm doing. I'm conquering me. That's it.
Well, the question still is up there about your wife. Like, you do this every day, dog. Ain't nothing changed, man.
Okay, that's fine. Until I prove it, right? That's fine. Until you see actually my wife Ebony face to face, and you're gonna finally believe me. But you're not gonna believe me then. You're not gonna believe me. You're gonna think I paid for it.
It's gonna be a stand-in, dog, on a double or something. You know what I'm saying? I've been working with you too long, and I still ain't met your wife, man. It's a problem there. But anyways, it's all good. I'm glad you enjoying yourself, man. We had a good time with the family, man. Shot some fireworks, barbecue, hung out by the pool, man. Everything. The weather was great. Just a beautiful thing, man. So it's always good just to take some time and chill and relax. Like right now, I literally had to pull over on the side of the road because we're out the country. You know, we out here get some family time in, and I was out running some errands or whatever. I said, you know what? It don't make no sense for me to try to get back to the spot and try to set up. We'll just go ahead and do it right here and there, man. That's what we do. We wing it. It is what it is.
Keep it real. Keep it real. So you're on a dirt road right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally in the country, man. We're about to fish. Like when we get done with this episode, I'm right out there, right up the road from the lake and a couple of cool fishing ponds, man, that me and my dad come to all the time, man. So we finna throw it out there and catch some of these bass, pimping. It's finna go down.
That's what I'm talking about.
But on that note, man, what we gonna be talking about today, man? Let's talk sports and whatever else that's on the lineup.
Of course, we got to get into the free agency in the NBA. I mean, it was record crazy numbers going around. Your son plays baseball, right?
Yes, sir.
Might want to have him play basketball too. I got a son too. I know you question that too. He doesn't have the height to play basketball, but if he did, it would be the NBA. With all the money they're throwing around right now, we'll get into that. Also, you know, it's the 50-year anniversary of hip-hop.
Hip-hop, yes, sir.
Billboard has their 50 greatest rap groups. Now, this is your thing.
Come on now. Hey, You already know.
I won't tell you the list yet, and I won't tell you who's number one, but I'm pretty sure we're going to argue. How Ricky said, the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, what'd he say? Let's argue.
Let's argue.
And then Michael Jordan. Somebody stopped him. I think he was out with his wife a few nights ago, and they asked him about the Larsa Pippen and his son dating. And he had his remarks on that situation and what they're going through. So we'll get to Michael Jordan and how he feel about those two dating right now.
Okay. Well, let's start, man. I don't know, man. That's some good stuff. I almost kind of want to start off with the 50 years of hip hop and the.
I think we're gonna argue first. So you know what? Let's go and get the NBA out the way.
Okay.
Let's get the NBA out the way. So are we going Ray Duggar? Hit us. That's your thing.
Let's go. Ray Duggar, let's go.
I hate the homies.
Let's get the not so impressive players out the way right now. I don't know if you saw this. This happened last week. Dallas Mavericks, and it's no surprise they re-signed Kyrie Irving because there was no market for Kyrie. There was no market. He tried to swindle his way to get an interview with the Phoenix Suns to make that market go higher, but they offered him a 3-year deal worth $126 million, which is probably the right thing to do He was looking for a 5-year deal, 4 or 5-year deal. I wouldn't have given him that, but 3 years is fine because in 2 years, what's going to happen? Luka's going to be up, and you'll know exactly where you are with this basketball team. So no surprise there. Another not a surprise. I told you guys, Draymond Green.
Hold on. Before we go to Draymond, let me give you my 2 cents on the Kyrie situation.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Yeah, because you can't just skate over that real like you just did, man. Look, like so Kyrie obviously has reached a point in his career where, and this is kind of scary, he's still one of the coldest players in the league as far as playing the game of basketball.
Yeah.
So for no other team or teams to want to entertain a contract with him kind of bothers me a little bit. And it should bother him because after this Mavericks contract expires, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. He's going to have to re-sign again with the Mavericks or retire because if there's a lot of teams that could use Kyrie Irving.
Or take less money. Or take less money. Or take less money too.
Right. But I'm talking about right now, there's some teams that would love a talented player like Kyrie Irving that can immediately take them to a whole nother level as far as playing the game of basketball. And for none of those teams to entertain that bothers me a little bit. And that concerns me a little bit about Kyrie as he winds down the last part of his career over the next, 5, 8 years or whatever, however long he decides to play. But that bothers me, man. Now, on the good note, I love it for the Dallas Mavericks. I love it for the Dallas Mavericks, man. If Kyrie can swallow his pride and understand that this is still Luka's team and he's okay with taking the second most shots and he can be the GOAT, he can be the Robin to the Batman. Listen, Dallas Mavericks, this will be because let's be honest, man. They've only played 29 games together, Kyrie and Luka.
And they didn't look good. And they didn't look good at all together.
Yeah, there's been no chemistry. They hadn't had a chance to form chemistry together. So now that they're getting on the same page with each other, hopefully off the court, they're understanding each other. They're building friendships and trust. Now they got a whole 82 games to get chemistry together. This could be dangerous. And they got some good young guns coming in. They got, man, I like the Dallas Mavericks, man. I'm not gonna put them in a championship yet.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna say that, but they're gonna be up there in the conversations in the West. They're gonna be in the top 3 in the West. I am gonna say that. They're gonna be in the top 3 in the West.
Rob,
put it that way.
You almost had me. No, that would not be in the top 3. Just those two. Remember, I told you. Okay, hold on. Take a step back because I told you last season, when they made this deal, you said, watch out for these two. Watch what they're going to do. Probably Western Conference Finals like the Mavericks were just a year ago before Kyrie. I told you not even close because of what? Kyrie has a history, man. It hasn't worked in Boston. It didn't work with the Nets. And I don't think it's going to work with the Mavericks. Yeah, he got his money right now, 3-year deal, $126 million. But I still don't see them beating Denver right now. What's the other teams in the West? You can look at Denver. You can put Phoenix in there if you want
Golden State.
Golden State. They're
Lakers.
not better than those teams right now. They don't play defense. Which one of those two guys play defense?
No, we ain't talking about them two playing defense. We talking about the rest of the supporting cast.
But we don't know about them. If it's the same, I know you got some young guys coming in. But
yes.
Rookies don't make that kind of impact the first year.
If they play their role, they could. Let's think about it. If I'm a rookie coming to the Dallas Mavericks, I ain't got to worry about being the star because we already got 2 superstars on the team that's gonna take all that extra stuff off my shoulders. I just got to come in, play my role, do what coach want me to do, whatever that role is, and I promise you, Jason Kidd is going to express defense hardcore. He's going to tell Luka, Kyrie, y'all go get buckets. You know what I'm saying? Tim Hardaway Jr., go get buckets. Everybody else, we're going to be dogs in the paint. We're going to be dogs on the defensive end. We're going to out-hustle everybody. We're going to be that team that nobody's going to expect us to play when it comes to defense. So it's still early, but that's just my role. Because when you got a lot of young players, When you got a lot of young players on your team, those young players are willing to do the dirty work because they want to prove themselves. And then you let Kyrie and Luka and Tim Hardaway Jr., you let them just get buckets.
It's how you're optimistic about Kyrie Irving and all these other players, but then you don't even know these guys. But you see me every Monday. You know me, and you don't give me any kind of optimism. You see greatness every single day, and you don't. This is a superstar right here, and you won't give him my credit. But you give Kyrie, who's been a knucklehead everywhere he's been, you giving him his credit. Come on, Rock. Come on.
Okay, Super Dave, you missing the whole point. How did I start this whole conversation? I used the word if Kyrie understands that Luka is number one and he's number two. If he can understand that, then everything that I said is legit. Now, if he doesn't and he goes back into bonehead Kyrie, then we're gonna be back having the same conversation that we always have every year about him. Like, what's the problem, bro?
You're talking about in the top five, but let's talk about a team that didn't know if they was going to re-sign this guy. They made the move, got rid of Jordan Poole, because you know the Jordan Poole, Draymond Green situation last season with the fight before the season even started. We saw the video, but then Jordan Poole didn't live up to his end during the season, especially in the playoffs. He was awful. When you say when Pippen said that Jordan was horrible, no, Jordan Poole was horrible in that playoffs last season. They got rid of Jordan Poole. He went to the Washington Wizards. They made room for them to re-sign now Draymond Green, which I don't think you're surprised about. I think it's the right move because without Draymond Green, I love Steph, I love Clay, but he is your quarterback for that basketball team. He's the heartbeat for that basketball team. They couldn't get rid of this guy.
100% agree. 100% agree. He's the glue. He's the glue with all this.
I can't believe that.
He's also the reason that Jordan Poole is gone because, and he admitted it. Like ever since they got into that little scrap, that little fight, he punched Jordan, all that stuff. They was never the same. He admitted it, and he understood that the team wasn't a team on and off the court like it should have been. So I agree that situation. Now you add CP3 to the equation. And I think this is perfect for Chris Paul III because now Chris Paul III again doesn't have to be the first and second and not even the third option. He can just play legitimate quarterback and distribute the ball to all of his prolific scorers that he has on his team. And Draymond gonna be Draymond. He gonna do his dirty work. But CP3 can just really he ain't got to score. Now he's gonna score his if he gets 12 to 13, 14 points a game with his 8 to 10 assists a game, that's solid. That's solid. Let him just lead. This could be a nice situation for Golden State now that Jordan Poole is gone, because now that eliminates the problem that was happening last year in the locker room between him and Draymond. So that's gone now. So this could be a good situation, man. We can don't be surprised if Golden State could be at the top of the West.
Draymond came on Paul George's podcast a few days ago, and he mentioned something about Chris Paul for the first time. It's been a while, and he really hadn't said anything other than what he didn't know the guy. He never really liked Chris Paul, but now they're teammates. Mm-hmm. But he also said what Chris Paul could do, which is help the young guys on the second team. He ain't starting for this team. This is still Clay. This is still a Steph Curry's team. Mm-hmm. But coming off the bench and guiding that second unit, which that's where they had problems, because when Steph went to the bench or Draymond went to the bench, that's where they had the problem. That's where the scoring went down. That's what they were hoping they were going to get from Jordan Poole. Now with Chris Paul, he can solidify and put these young guys in the right situation, like a Kuminga or a Moody, and get them in the right situation. I think it's good. I think they're still missing one player. I think they're still missing a big guy, because when you look at the West, you still look at Denver, you still look at the Lakers. And what was the one thing that killed Golden State last year? Anthony Davis. Everybody in the matchup with Anthony Davis. I still think when they won championships, not the one they had 2 years ago, but they always had a big guy to solidify. Not a big name, just a big body to help them. So I still think they're one player away, and we never know. Steve Kerr said he wouldn't trade Chris Paul, during the trade deadline, during the season, but never say never, because you possibly see that happen. Yeah,
you're supposed to say that. You're supposed to say that, man. But
yeah.
it's and I don't think Chris Paul gonna have a problem coming off the bench. I really don't think. He's at the point in his career. He wants a championship, and this is gonna be the closest thing he will get. He should have had one a couple years ago with Phoenix, to be honest with you. But
yeah, and that's what he also said. He said he helped Ayton.
Yep.
He called Ayton a bust. He said this. This is Draymond Green saying Ayton was a bust before Chris Paul got there and helped him become a better player. Now, all the other stuff about him playing video games and not being involved, but he made him better on the basketball court when he did play. And that's what Draymond's he says he can do for the young guys on their team. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the most important thing about that before we move on is, will Draymond and CP3 legitimately get along? And I think Draymond, as much as people may think that he doesn't have a heart, he has a huge heart. And I think it's that big heart of his is why people confuse it with him not having a heart. He cares that much. He really cares that much. So I think but he also respects CP3 as well. So I think they'll be all right, man. It's going to be fun to watch that situation pan out.
Let's get to these quick ones right quick before we get into the big meat of what's going on in the NBA free agency. Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, they re-signed with Milwaukee. There's no surprise there. I think the big one is Fred Van
Fleet. Yep.
Vliet, yeah.
Yes, sir.
From Toronto
to Houston. Yes, sir.
But that ain't the big one. They also signed Dylan Brooks.
Oh, man. Yes,
Nobody thought he was going to get picked up.
Right.
So they're spending over $200 million on both of those two players. So that's a big surprise, seeing those guys go there. And then the Lakers, they really stay intact. They're keeping the core of the team that went to the Western Conference Finals.
Kudos for keeping Reeves.
Oh, they needed to keep him.
Kudos, because I was getting a little scared. I thought they was going to let him fly and go get his money, whatever. But kudos for figuring that part out, because Reeves going to be cool. That's Joker right, boy. Man, I ain't saying he's like a bird, but he's a bad white boy. That Joker cold, man. He cold.
And then another surprise, Bruce Brown, who Malone said they wouldn't lose when they had the parade for the Denver Nuggets. They said they wouldn't lose Bruce Brown, who was a key, valuable part of their winning the championship. He's leaving for big money. And they also lost Thomas Bryant, so you still got the Joker, and you still have
Murray.
Jamal Murray.
Yeah,
so you're good right now. You still have Gordon, you still have Porter, but you still want to have depth. That was the key to help them last season. And then let's go on hit James Harden before we get to Damian Lillard, before we go to break. James Harden, he opted in on his contract, and he's looking for the 76ers to trade him. But there's no buyers right now.
You know what I was hoping to happen? When Westbrook signed back with Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, can you imagine Kevin Durant and James Harden signing back with OKC?
No.
When they all started? I was like, can you imagine? And I was like, oh, this could be nice for OKC. But that's too good to be true, man. But that would have been a beautiful thing if that happened.
Well, James Harden, there's no buyers out there right now for him. And he's another knucklehead. They went from, OKC to Houston to the Nets, now to the 76ers. Now he wants out of there. He wants to go join another team. I know all the talk at first was about him going back to Houston. But Houston, I'm pretty sure Houston solidified their deals right now with Fred and Dylan. So that won't happen. And James Harden might have to wait. Because Philadelphia ain't got to be in a rush right now.
Yeah. Philadelphia is going to wait as long as they can to see what else they can get, what other offers that could possibly come to the table. And then they'll decide on what it is going to do. But James need to be careful, man, because he may want to stay put right there in Philly. Because, I mean, with him and Embiid and that whole Maxey, that's still a solid freaking core. So he may want to just stay put. Because he's close. You know what I'm saying? Do I think they're going to win it all? No. But he's still going to be in contention with that team. I don't see him, unless he go out to L.A. with the Lakers or something, but he may want to just stay put right there, man.
Well, there's 3 teams waiting on one person right now. That's Miami, the Clippers, and maybe the Boston Celtics. It's one name out there that people are waiting on, and we'll see what happens with this guy. All right, Rock. So I told you it's 3 teams right now that's in a running for one particular player, and that's Dame Lillard.
Dame time.
He finally
Dame time.
He requested a trade. Finally, he wants out of Portland. Finally. And Miami is the big picture in this. The Clippers still have a shot, but Boston got the pieces and the draft picks to make that thing happen. And you ship off Jaylen Brown to bring in Dame, it changes that team into a championship team quickly.
I can't even disagree with that. As much as I love Jaylen Brown, he ain't Dame Lillard. And Jason Tatum would be okay with Dame coming to the squad. And I don't think he'll have a problem at all. There wouldn't be no ego. It wouldn't be because he understands as well. Like, what is it going to take to get us over the hump? Miami also looks good too, man. I mean,
they lost Vincent,
right? But you bring in Dame,
yeah, and you lost Struss too. But you bring in Dame.
Come on, man.
You saw what they did in the NBA Finals. Neither one of those 2 guys showed up. But Dame, you put him on that team, that's 25 points guaranteed a game. And with Butler and with Bam, it changed. It makes any of one of those 2 teams the contenders in the Eastern Conference. They could be the top 2 teams.
So let's put this to consideration.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in Portland all these years. Nothing against Portland. You know, there's some beautiful things in Portland. Beautiful town. But it's not LA. It's not Miami Beach. You know, so when you have an opportunity to go to one of those cities and the team happens to be pretty good as well, I think they got a little edge over Boston. You know what I'm saying? You think Miami Beach or Los Angeles, LA. And so between the Clippers and the Heat, they probably lead the pack just because of those 2 right there. Because let's be real, Kawhi is still Kawhi. You know, Paul George is still Paul George, regardless if they can stay healthy or not. So, you know, I think they got the edge over Boston right there. Boston,
but you got to give up one of those 2 if you bring. I mean, Tyronn Lewis right now saying, "Don't forget about us over here. I want somebody reliable." You saw what happened last season when Kawhi played 2 games in the playoffs, and all of a sudden that 3rd game night, said he couldn't go. Yeah, that hurts, man.
Yeah, it does.
Coach. You want somebody that's ready to play, that wants to win a championship. He's been there and done that. I'm not doubting Kawhi, but you got to give up one of those 2 players to get Dame in there.
Well, if I'm giving up Paul George,
yeah,
because Kawhi, listen, man, Kawhi is a. I don't want to go so far and say he's a risk, but over the last couple of years, man, his health is a concern, and I think he's at the point of his career where it's kind of like Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose got to the point of his career where if he didn't feel good, if he didn't feel right, if his body wasn't feel right, he's like, hey, I'm done. I'm shutting it down because I'm not going to keep playing through injury. You know, which that's how the old school was taught. You play through your injuries. If you hurt, are you hurt or does it hurt? You know, it's a difference. So I think Kawhi is there at his point in his career where, hey, if I feel a little uncomfortable and my body don't feel right, I'm not going to play. Now, when I'm 100%, I'm going to play. Will I take that over the course of a whole year? Man, if I can get 60 to 65 games out of Kawhi Leonard, including the playoffs, I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. It's just you just don't know. That's the hard part. You just don't know.
See, I'm happy finally with Dame make a decision to leave Portland, but let's not treat Portland like they didn't give. I mean, he made money. Let's not argue. He made money in Portland, and at one point they had a good team. They started having to rebuild, so it was just really up to Dame to make a decision if he wanted to stay there for the rebuild or go somewhere else and try to win now. So let's not feel sorry for just Dame because he got his money. I'm happy for both of them because now Portland can start fresh if they trade him. But the point is, I'm not rushing to trade him either. I want the best deal. He's a top player. He is a superstar. I'm not giving him away.
He gonna get a bunch of. He gonna get a couple of first round draft picks. Watch.
You remember what Minnesota gave for who was it? Rudy Gobert last year? Come on, man.
I forgot what did he give for it.
They gave up some draft picks. They gave up.
They did give up the house. They did give up the house.
Rudy. For Rudy. So you talking about for Rudy? Oh, for Dame? Dame, you giving? I want picks because I'm also looking out. I'm Portland. I'm looking out for myself too. I'm trying to build a contender to be in the West because in about 2 or 3 years, Steph will be retired. We're looking at LeBron James might probably be out the NBA during that time. Phoenix, I don't trust Phoenix right now because they still don't have a. They brought in Eric Gordon, they signed him, but they still don't have depth. So that's always going to be the problem. So where's the defense at? Still, that's still a big question mark for Phoenix. You got Kevin Durant, so that's one reason people want to put him in the top 5. But I don't see that in my top 5 either. They're a team that's unsure right now.
Yeah, but if you bring Dame into that Phoenix squad, shoot, come on.
They can't do it money wise.
You put Dame on any contending team right now, you immediately have to almost put them into the championship. Like for real, if everybody can play with him. Like so that's how big of a deal Dame is right now.
So let's just say we're happy for Dame and we're happy for Portland. But now I finally see it. I think that was my big question a couple of weeks ago. Does Dame want to win? And I think now the point is he wants to win a championship. He made all your money, man. At the end of the day, you want to win a championship. It's all about winning the ring too, especially if you already have the money. Now, some people get greedy, like James Harden. He want those years, baby. He want them years added to that money. He want to be around for a while, and teams ain't going to do that. But Dame, I'm making the move, and if I'm Miami, you're giving up Tyler Hero, but you probably have to bring a third team in to make this deal happen. So it won't just be a straight up between those two teams. It'll be a third team involved. So we'll see what happens today.
We're going to find out. It's going to be Dame time. But right now, it's time to talk 50 years of hip-hop. We celebrating, baby. And Billboard came out with the top 100. Was it? Was it top 100 or top 50 groups? Top 50 hip-hop groups of all time?
Rap groups of all time.
I agree with some of them, but I got a problem with others. All right, Super Dizzle. I know you got the hot list sitting right there in front of you, man. We're celebrating 50 years of hip-hop. The top 50 hip-hop groups of all time, according to Billboard. Run them down with the top 10.
I did this story especially for you.
Come on.
You are a DJ.
Come on.
You know the history of hip-hop. I'm not saying I don't know rap, but I know you know more rap than me.
Come on.
I'll put it like that. So I'm giving you your props already. I'm going to give you the top 10 right now from the Billboard. Top 10, the 50 greatest rap groups of all time. The Roots, number 10.
Okay.
Fine with that one?
Keep going. I'll let you know when I got a problem.
De La Soul, number 9.
Okay.
Number 8, Push It. Real good. Salt and Pepper. Number 7, Eric B.
And Rakim.
Yep. Run DMC, number 5.
I got a problem with that, son. Keep going.
A Tribe Called Quest, number 4.
Okay.
NWA, which we had Ice Cube just on a few days ago on a Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Okay.
You sitting right next to Ice Cube during that time.
Yes, sir.
Before I named other, did you go to the Big 3? Did you watch them play?
I didn't get a chance to get out there, man. My son had baseball.
Okay. So number 3, NWA. Number 2, Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay.
Number 1, Outkast.
Ooh, okay.
Outkast.
All right. So
I come to you for your expertise on this.
From that top 10, let's start with that top 10. First of all, Run DMC is not number 5. You got to put Run DMC number 1. Here's why. Okay? Run DMC took rap to a whole nother level, commercialized it, crossed over into hip hop. Into rock and roll. And they just, what Michael Jordan did to basketball and NBA is what Run DMC did to hip hop.
Yeah.
They made it fun. They made it cool. They're in movies. I mean, they were on all the TV commercials. Y'all remember, man? I mean, They helped take Adidas to a whole nother level. They had everybody wanting to wear the big chains, the hats. I mean, everybody wanted Adidas suits. Run DMC, man, and they made some dope music at the same time. So let's not forget about that. They discovered the Beastie Boys. Where's the Beastie Boys in all this? Now, I get it. They may be somewhere in the top 20, 30 or whatever.
The number 16.
Come on,
Beastie
man.
Boys, number 16.
Beastie Boys, I don't care what you say, man. That may be a little low for them. They should probably be in the top 10.
Okay.
Now, Outkast. I put them at number 2.
Woo.
Outkast and Wu-Tang are tied at number 2. You can't separate them. Listen, what Wu-Tang did from the East Coast and made it, that whole history of the Wu, every member went out and did their own thing as a solo artist, sold great records. They created that whole Wu-Tang cult, which still today is still strong. The Wu-Tang cult is still strong. They still sell crazy amount of Wu-Tang merchandise. Wu-Tang is something that I don't think will ever be duplicated ever again when it comes to like that kind of style of a rap group.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Outkast. I know they had them at number 1. You said tied with Wu-Tang at number 2. But
number 2.
I'm just speaking for myself. I mean, to me, Outkast blew up on that. Is it Stake On with the album with the Miss Jackson and Hey Ya and all those other hits on there. To me, that's when they really blew up, right?
Nah, man. Southern Playalistic.
They were big before that?
What? Southern Playalistic is one of the
I forgot about that.
classics.
Okay.
Man, come on, man. Look. Outkast, listen. Andre 3000 and Big Boy, come on, man. That whole era, they took that whole South to a whole nother level. Don't get me wrong, man. You got Cash Money. You got No Limit. Everything with Master P and Cash Money and all them was doing, man. You can't count them out as well. But that was a bunch of single artists that was on a label. Are we talking about groups? Outkast helped take the South to the international level. And so you got to give them their props for that. They make great music. They also crossed over into pop. You hear Outkast songs on pop chirping stations. The same station you hear Justin Bieber and all them guys. You hear Outkast music. So you got to give them props for that. So I got them and Wu-Tang at number 2.
What about NWA number 3? You happy with that one?
I'm happy with NWA being number 3. Because I'm glad they respected what they did. What they did with that whole West Coast vibe and everything they went through when it comes to gangster rap, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to hear it on radio. Everybody was trying to get it off the radio, and for them to kind of keep going and staying strong. I like that NWA because now that's why hip hop is so dope. We just mentioned 5 different groups and all different types of it's all hip hop, but it's different types of hip hop, and that's what makes it so dope.
Okay, so, what about the story about what Ice Cube told you guys on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show that when they went to the Apollo and they got
booed? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they went to the Apollo, but everybody gets booed at the Apollo.
But he said because of the curls, they had the curls.
They walked up from the West Coast with the Jerry curls in, and they go into New York. They go into the heart of New York at the Apollo from the West Coast with some Jerry curls, and before they even got a chance to rock, they booed them.
That was fun. I really enjoyed the interview with Ice Cube. Public Enemy number 6. You cool
Public
with that?
Enemy. Yep, I'm cool with that being number 6, man. That's self-explanatory, man, for what they meant to the culture.
Now, Eric B. You don't think Eric B could have been higher?
Eric B and Rakim, no, because I still think Eric B is a solo artist. I'm sorry, Rakim is a solo artist. Eric B is the DJ. So yes, it was Eric B and Rakim, and technically they're kind of a group, kind of the same way as Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. You know, you got a DJ and you got a rapper, so it's kind of a group. Run DMC, it was 2 rappers, and then you have Jam Master Jay. So the DJ does count in the group. Salt and Pepper, you got Spinderella. So yes, the DJ does count as part of the group, but the Eric B and Rakim, I don't know, man. In my head, this is just me. I just still think Rakim is a solo artist that just happens to have a dope DJ name Eric B.
Now, see, for me, I think Salt and Pepper should have been higher because they're the only female group in the top 10.
Where they
And
at there?
They're number 8. They
Okay.
changed the game. They changed the game too.
I think 8 is right. I think that's pretty accurate for Salt and Pepper, man. I mean, no disrespect. They did change the game, and they put the women on the map on a whole nother level. So I think 8 is solid. I think that's a solid place for them.
Okay, De La Soul, you fine with number 9?
De La Soul, man, they're one of those groups, them and the Roots, even though Roots is number 10. De La Soul and the Roots, let me put it to you this way. If they were higher, I wouldn't be mad at it. Because
for those which one, Roots?
Yeah, both of them. Roots and De La Soul. If they were higher up, I wouldn't be mad because those are types of groups that don't get the respect that they always should get. Now you're probably saying, well, wait a minute, Rock. They're ranked 9 and 10 out of 50, so they are getting their respect. What I mean is when you think of hip hop groups, De La Soul and the Roots aren't the first ones that's gonna jump out your mouth. It's gonna be some of the ones that we already talked about. So, but De La Soul and the Roots, man, they are dope, man. They paved the way for a lot of hip hop, the music, the genre of hip hop that's not your typical gangster hip hop or Southern hip hop or West Coast or even East Coast. They're kind of that mainstream hip hop music that's kind of clean, but it's kind of got their own sound, but it may not be the popular sound that everybody's used to hearing. So I mean, 9 and 10 is solid, but if they were higher, I wouldn't be mad at that.
I guess I wanted Salt and Pepper higher because, and maybe I was the only one. I'm pretty sure you did the same thing. I had Salt and Pepper on my wall, right behind my bed,
with the 8-ball jackets on.
With the 8-ball jackets, and you know who I really loved in that group?
Who?
Spinderella. Oh, I love me some Spinderella. I really did. I really did.
But I got a couple out there that I want to throw out there, man. I mean, where's Bone Thugs and Harmony on the list?
Bone Thugs and number 21.
Okay, because Bone, they changed the game too, man. They took that thing to a whole nother level, man. Bone Thugs and Harmony. Houdini. Where's Houdini at?
Houdini didn't make the list.
They ain't in the top 50?
They're not in the top 50, man.
Oh, that's a problem.
Okay, I agree.
That's a problem.
That's what we grew up on.
Who's number 50?
Number 50 is MOP.
You can't put MOP over Houdini, and I like MOP. Who's 49?
Black Star is number 49.
Keep going.
City Girls is number 4 over Houdini. Houdini didn't make the top 50.
Yeah, you can't. Come on, man. You can't. You got to put all the people that helped pave the way in that top 50 somewhere. Now, I get it. There's a lot of new groups that came out over the years, so you can't dismiss all of them. But, man, you can't forget the legends, bro.
I'll give you a few more that we grew up on. Pete Rock.
CL Smooth. Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Okay.
They're 45th.
Okay.
Kid and Play, 43.
Ooh, that's a good one. Kid and Play.
I knew I would get you here.
Musically, I mean, because they did movies and all that, but it's still part of the culture. Yeah.
They have a cartoon.
They had a cartoon too, man. Yeah. I would have put them at least in the 30s somewhere.
Onyx, number 40.
That's good.
Yeah.
Onyx, yeah, come on.
This your boys right here. We put a Ricky Smiley morning show. Whenever I say Rock, I need a song to play for songs that stay in your head. 8-Ball.
8-Ball, MJG. They in the 40s?
They're 37.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would put them probably early up in the 30s, late 20s. But yeah, 8-Ball, MJG, man, you gotta give them their props, man.
And anytime I saw this group on a video, I had to have a towel next to me because of women in the video. 2 Live Crew.
Ooh, yeah, Luke, 2 Live Crew, that whole Miami bass sound. Yes, where they at? Number what?
Number 32. Did you get what I said about having a towel next to me?
Yeah. Say, man.
Pop, you know, come on, man.
Listen, man, I don't even think there's been music since then. Like that kind of Miami bass style, man. Yeah. Come on, dog.
They pushed the envelope too. People were mad during that time.
Absolutely, man. And that's part of it.
Boogie Down Production, number 31. I ain't gonna go over the whole list, but I'll just give you some more highlights. Boogie Down Production, number 31. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, 27.
That's good. That's good for them.
Sugar Hill Gang, 23.
Yeah, the only reason why they probably ain't higher is because they didn't have a bunch of songs. You know,
Well,
they're responsible for, you know, helping take hip hop, catapult it to a higher level at that time.
yeah.
But that they don't have a lot of songs.
Naughty by Nature, number 15, but no Houdini in the top 50.
Yeah,
You got a problem with that?
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, all right. You already know I got a problem with Houdini. Do I have a problem with Naughty by Nature being in top 15? I would have probably put them in the 20s.
Okay. And then Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, number 12.
Yeah, you got to respect them, man. I mean, arguably, depending on who you talk to, they one of the ones at the beginning that helped start this whole thing. DJ Kool Herc and all them. So, yeah, I mean, you got to respect the legends, bro.
Okay, well, up next, people saw Michael Jordan at a restaurant. They didn't ask him about the top 50 and the top 50 rap groups. They asked him about his son dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
As they should have.
Well, we got to get into his comments next.
Let's go. Let's go.
Well, Jordan was spotted leaving dinner recently when he was asked if he approved the relationship between his 32-year-old son, Marcus,
right,
and the 48-year-old Larsa Pippen, ex-wife of Scottie Pippen. Jordan said no and shook his head. That's all he did. He said no, he didn't approve of it, and shook his head.
Well, there you go. So at least we know now that he don't approve of it.
Yeah.
But something tells me that he's kind of liking it, especially all the crap that Pippen is talking about.
He called him horrible. He called Jordan horrible.
Jordan is doing what Jordan has always done, and this is his masterful mindset. He knows how to respond to the media. He knows how to give the media what they don't want all the time, and to keep moving. He's above all of that stuff, man. So he knows if he says, "Oh yeah, I approve it. I don't have no problem with it," that's gonna lead to another question. That's gonna lead to another question. That's gonna lead to another question of stuff that he don't even want to entertain. So he's just gonna be like, "No, I don't approve it," and move it, keep it moving. Because you can't go nowhere after that from a media's perspective. I mean, you can always say, "Well, why don't you approve it?" But it's like that's not from a media person. You don't want that. You want him to say,
"But
yeah,
I
want to pose
this question. I want to pose this question to you because you have older kids."
Yes, sir.
Like you're 10 and 12 right now. I still can answer the question too, but I want you to answer it first. So if your kid, it's like Michael Jordan, if your kid ended up dating one of your friend's ex, would you have a problem with it?
Ooh.
Ooh. I ain't putting no names out there. I'm not saying any of your kids. I'm just saying just one of your kids. Don't put no names with it. But
and you know what? Honestly, bro, that's one of those situations that I don't know how I would feel until I'm in that situation. And I ain't trying to get out of answering the question. I don't know how I would feel. I don't know if I would accept.
You're trying to get out of answering the question. You're trying to get out.
But I would have to think. I don't know because I'm like, I don't know. Whatever happens at that time, that would be my answer. But for right now, I don't have an answer for that. I already know what your answer gonna be.
Hold on. If Crystal was in the car with you right now, and we asked her that same question, would Crystal have a response to it?
Oh yeah, of course she would. Yeah, you know, Crystal.
What do you think her response would be? What would you think it would be? What you think?
I don't even want to know.
She started.
You know that woman. Shoot, she don't bite her tongue for nobody. Shoot.
I think for me, it's hard because at that point, at the age of 32, they're an adult. I mean, they're adult when when they get out your house. We'll say that. When they get out your house, they're doing their own thing. I wouldn't like it. I probably would talk to them face to face, not to the other person, but to my kid, and just ask them, do they know what they're doing, where they want to go with this situation, and know what comes with it, and let them still make their own decisions. Because in the end, I may not be here to see their happiness. They might end up being happy.
Right.
I don't like it. I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna like it. But I don't think as much you can say when they're an adult, right?
Yeah, it's really gonna depend on that person and that person's history and that person's track record. Like if they got a bad track record, bad history, they just drama, negative, and everything that happens to them is just bad news. then of course that's different. But if the person is a legitimate good person, got a good reputation, and it's only an age thing, I mean, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. But then again,
would you have a conversation?
I would have a conversation with both of them, not just one, because you're gonna have to have a conversation with both of them. You're gonna be with both of them. They're gonna be together. So when you're around, when your child is around you, this person's gonna be with them. So you're gonna have to have a conversation with both of them.
Yeah, I guess so. It'll probably be like that episode from Good Times when Thelma started messing with Louis Gossett Jr. I don't know if you remember the episode.
Yep.
And James didn't like it. He was an old man.
Absolutely.
He gave him that look with that hook nose he has.
Man, he was ready to fight Lou Gossett.
He was ready to fight.
With the corduroy pants that James always wore. All the time he wore corduroy pants.
Well, I mean, so I did see, before we leave, I did see Era this weekend. I finally watched this as I'm on vacation. I thought it was damn good.
Hey.
Have you seen it?
Don't tell me yet, because I ain't seen it yet. It's on our list.
Oh my God.
I'm mad at myself because every time we sit down and get ready to watch it, something come up. We're watching it tonight. I'm watching it tonight. So keep your opinions to yourself, and we'll talk about it next time.
I caught 2 movies. I caught that one, and I also watched Creed 3, which I thought was very good.
I hadn't seen Creed 3.
I've been nothing, man.
Man, I got listen, man. Me and wifey has been on straight entrepreneur business mode.
I like that.
We have our date nights. We go to our, we have our date nights and stuff. We always make time for ourselves. We always make time for our kids. But we've been on like business entrepreneurship mode for the last, 2 months, like solid. Like there's some big goals that we're trying to accomplish. More to come like later down the road for that. But we ain't really been having the TV on too much. And we normally go to the movies once a week because that's part of our date night. Yeah. But over the last couple of months, man, we've been in business mode, so we're gonna get back to it. We got to get caught up.
So how many date nights y'all do a month? Like
we have a date night every week. Like we normally have like dinner and a movie, but of lately, sometimes we'll just have a little picnic or something in the living room of our own house. You know what I'm saying? We'll do something real simple out. We'll go to the park or something. But every week we commit to have some sort of a date night. If it's go to lunch, try a new restaurant we ain't tried before. That's been right up the street for the last 10 years or whatever. We still ain't never been there. Just little bitty things and stuff like that, man.
See, I'm learning. I had a fake anniversary with my fake wife this past weekend.
Congratulations, man. I forgot it was your fake anniversary. How'd it go?
15 years.
That's right, because you was asking me about some good steak places, man. Where'd y'all end up going to eat?
I don't want to say because I didn't enjoy myself. And I don't think she did. We've been there a few times, and what I'm finding out about places, that's why I don't like eating out a lot, period. Places are inconsistent. They could be great first couple of times, and it's not the same anymore, man. And it's not just us. It's just they're inconsistent. Every place I go, other than my favorite place, In-N-Out, I go to almost every single day. They know me. I walk in the door, they say, Dave, huh?
What place?
In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, yeah, In-N-Out Burger. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But when I walk in the place, my wife will tell you when I walk in, I know him used to walk in Cheers and they say his name.
Yep.
That's what they do to me when I walk in my In-N-Out.
And
that's how much I go there.
Hey, the only thing about In-N-Out, they got to fix them fries, man. Like, come on, man.
I agree.
You got to put so much salt on the fries just for them to taste halfway decent. And you got to eat them fast before they cool off. Yeah,
I agree. That's why my favorite spot, of course, is what? McDonald's.
Come on now.
It's my favorite spot, especially the fries, man. Please.
You can't never go wrong unless they take long to change that grease. Like when they don't change the grease, then that's when you can tell. I don't care how hot the fries are, you can tell fresh grease or not. Change the freaking grease, man. So the fries can be perfect all the time.
I'm glad you said that. I know we gotta go, but it's a barbecue place I used to go to, and they fried everything together. The catfish, the fries, whatever they can fry. And you seem like if you go to in the evening, you're tasting all of those things together. And it killed my stomach. It really did.
Come on, man. Change the grease, y'all. Change the grease. On that note, that brings this episode to a close, man. As always, I hate the homies. Rock Teezy's who I be.
Crickets.
No, Griffin.
Dave is who I be.
And
But
Griff
guess
will be
what?
back next week.
But guess what? We don't
We
care.
don't care.
I hate the homies.